This is the Talking Podcast. In case you just joined this platform, welcome. We are super excited to be back this week. My name is David Muvita, aka The People's Choice. Today I have with me three beautiful people in the studio, and indeed we have an interesting topic. Shout out to everybody out there who is in love, guys. Congratulations, and of course, we are here to bring you all conversations about love, and of course, love cannot happen without two people. So people say that love is between two people, and of course, we are here to just.
Is it just two people?
Well,
let's start the.
Okay,
Wait, shout out to the singles. We see you.
Yeah. All right, I was just doing
I'm
an intro,
also
but it seems like people here are in love, like 3 to 4 people are sharing love, which is pretty much okay. All right, so and this actually podcast is brought to you by the Wellness Center at the African Leadership University. So I think each one of us here is going to introduce themselves so that you just know who they are and what they have for us. But before that, the topic for this actually conversation is creating health and lasting relationships. So we're going to be broad, and we're going to talk about manipulation, love, bombing, and gaslighting, as well as leading on. Wow, that's deep. I also can't wait to really dive into the conversation. So in case you just joined us, do follow us on all our social media platforms, which is on Instagram, The Talking Podcast, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is The Talking Podcast. You can also find us on all the podcasting platforms. So ladies and one gentleman. All right, welcome to The Talking Podcast.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yo, actually, by the way, 2 of these guys, this is their second appearance on this platform, and she makes her first debut. Hey, welcome, Keza. So let's introduce ourselves. Let's start from this side.
My name is Keza Alex. I'm done. Is there anything else?
Human.
Oh yes, human.
Oh my God.
Let there be no confusion on that.
All right, let's roll it from this side, then we'll come here.
I'm not a potato.
Hi, I'm Aquino Wendy from Zimbabwe and Zambia. With my boy here.
Yeah.
I'm a peer counselor at the Wellness Center, and human also, because apparently we need to make that clear.
Hi guys, my name is Tsepiso. I'm from Botswana, and I'm just a student here, just an ordinary student here at ALU.
Who knows about relationships?
Who knows about relationships? Because those who can't teach.
Okay, that makes sense. Those who can't teach.
Okay, great. So I think without further ado, let's talk about now this conversation, guys. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the topic is really pretty good, and it's in line with the month that we're in. A few days from now, we're gonna be, celebrating the Love Day. So let's begin by understanding, first of all, what it is to be in a healthy relationship. What's a healthy relationship, and maybe what's the difference between a healthy relationship and
a toxic
relationship? Yeah, if I told you a toxic relationship. I don't know what you guys think on that. So, Kezia, you can start with that. What is a healthy relationship?
Well, I'm just talking in my perspective, though. I think healthy relationships are overrated. Don't come for me. And the reason for that is, relationships involve 2 people. So for it to be toxic, there has to be, one partner that's doing something the other one doesn't like, and they're not doing anything about it. Or if they are, they're not taking, necessary precautions to get out of it. So in my head, it makes more sense that a relationship would be healthy unless one or more than one counterpart is
nice.
You have to be willing.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Sapiso. Kudos to you if you're in love, my brother.
And I feel like David is just fishing.
Not really. I mean, this is the love month, guys, so it's probably that people are in love, and it's good to celebrate them. So, and we pray that you're in a healthy relationship. So, what's the healthy relationship according to your own understanding?
Okay, I think I might agree in part to what Keza said. So I would define, I do believe like they're healthy and they're definitively toxic relationships. And how we know the difference is how a healthy relationship would look like for me is one that both parties are like open to learning and understanding each other and fulfilling each other in ways that like we've mutually agreed. You get it? So where when you start dating someone initially, you don't know this person. So the whole dating experience is getting to know this person. And obviously, when you date someone, you're with them because you like them, and they give you some sort of pleasure, and not like in the sexual sense, emotional or however else. So that's what you're getting from them. And how this thing becomes healthy is when you equally invest in giving love or whatever it is, or trying to understand whatever it is they're trying to get from the relationship, and seeing whether or not you're willing to give that to them and actually giving that to them. I think a toxic relationship would be one where one party is receiving love or the gratification of the relationship over the other partner's gratification or happiness from the relationship. So a toxic relationship would be one where the receiving of the love is unbalanced. Yeah.
Wow. You know what? I like what I'm hearing so far. And talking of toxic relationship, I think this is one term that has over the time been mislaid or misunderstood, and nobody has talked about maybe fighting. You didn't mention about fighting. You know, many people out there, when they hear the term toxic relationship, they think maybe there is war in that relationship. But anyway, we'll come to that. Yeah, because there are relationships out there probably that, of course, there is a lot of confusion, and maybe they reach to even an extent of like assaulting each other, beating each other. So that's definitely like the worst toxic relationship. Aquino, what's to say on this first question? Like, what do you understand by the term healthy relationship? Maybe you can also touch a bit about toxic relationships.
Okay. I honestly feel like healthy relationships is subjective. It is what might be healthy for me may not be healthy for you or her, right? So for me, this should be, if I'm able to grow and learn in a relationship, that's healthy. If there is what he said, reciprocity, that's healthy. You know, give and take. It should be a give and take. I shouldn't give, and you shouldn't just be receiving. It's like I was about to digress.
Let's go.
It's like, I'll just dive right into it, guys. It's like the whole thing on giving pleasure. You can't just be expecting someone to give you head all the time, and you're just there receiving. When are you going to reciprocate, right? And then on the issue of toxicity, it doesn't always manifest itself in fighting, really. This is what brings us to what we really want to talk about, the whole manipulation and stuff. It also manifests itself in the whole emotionally blackmailing someone in the relationship, having someone demeaning their thoughts or their feelings, and making them feel unheard, really. So it doesn't always manifest itself in physical fighting, really, because the former could do more damage than beating up someone.
And I think, in my opinion, some of the most toxic relationships I've observed are ones where they don't outwardly like fight or have those arguments. These people never argue, but you can tell that, nah man, this is a toxic relationship because this person is constantly manipulating this one, or this one is constantly being gaslit. The whole relationship is just imbalanced, right?
True.
And maybe where the other party doesn't really have like a voice to even voice their concerns within the relationship. That's very toxic. And usually in those relationships, those people hardly ever like publicly fight as in arguments.
They're usually the relationship goals type of people,
Right.
because you see them and you're like, I want that.
And ironically, you find that the most toxic relationships tend to last longer than the so-called healthy relationships. Like, it's almost as though the moment you get into one, your whole sense of being is absorbed by the other person, and it just keeps going and going.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah, and I was coming to that because we've like now defined what this, and of course we've shared how we understand this. Now let's talk about creating them now. You know, let's not just talk about healthy relationship, but let's talk about creating them. So Keza, how does one go about creating a healthy relationships with their partner?
Well, I feel like the cornerstone of everything is communication.
Legit.
And communication is not just talking. There's also the non-verbal communication. For example, if we had a fight, how do we make up for it? Do I just pretend that nothing happened and I just hug you? Or do I sit down and apologize? And, you know, there's this TikTok video I was seeing, and it was like, my girlfriend doesn't apologize. She just goes to bed naked, and I decide whether I'm still mad about it or not.
Wow.
And in itself, we'll find things like, I mean, like, to me, the whole everything can be fixed the moment you guys are willing to talk about it, and not just talk about it as in, okay, we've had this conversation, but talk about it and draw conclusions from it. And from there on, you decide to work on it.
Great. I like that part. So how do we ensure that we are creating these healthy and lasting relationships?
I think the most important thing for me anyway is, man, seek out to understand your partner. Because I think sometimes we are toxic and we don't realize we're being toxic. And that stems from, first of all, not understanding what your partner is trying to get from the relationship. And how to give that to them. I don't want to use a term because people are always saying our terms, but understanding your partner's love language. That is, how does this person feel loved, and am I in a position to make them feel loved in that way, and then giving that to them, if at all you're in a position to do that. If not, move out of that relationship. That's also one way of maintaining a healthy relationship. Moving out when you realize you can't maintain it, right? So I think, first of all, just understand your partner, their love language, how it is they want to feel loved, and understand how it is you can achieve that for them. Because most of the times we're just toxic and we don't realize it. For me, for example, if maybe to make it a bit personal, I'm personally not like a texting person. I'm not a big texter. Everyone knows this.
Finally, we have somebody who loves speaking.
Everyone knows I'm a horrible texter. All my friends know this, family knows this. And it's a problem when now I'm in a relationship, especially when I'm with someone who constantly wants to be in communication. And my toxic trait, I guess, in a relationship, especially when I'm with that kind of person, would be that I under communicate because this person wants to be spoken to. I although I'm not like a big texter. So for me, how I'd make this trait less toxic is to actually invest in texting this person, looking for ways to make sure that I'm constantly communicating with this person. And so because that's how they would want to feel loved. Every hour they want to be talking to that person. So instead of just saying, I'm not a texter, she understands, she came into the relationship knowing that I'm not a texter, that. Yeah, that's also one other thing. Maybe that goes to what she said about communication. Yeah. So I guess one, you have to seek out to understand your partner and their love language so that you're not unintentionally toxic and you don't allow your inherent toxic traits to play out in the relationship. And then also now communicating with your partner so that they also know your love language, etc.
Okay, so I'll pick a question from what you have emphasized on, which is understanding your partner. Don't you guys think there are relationships out there, and actually between the partners, none of them understands each other, and they're in healthy relationships? Don't you think, or do you think misunderstanding your partner or not understanding your partner, it's a contributing factor to toxic?
Yeah, most definitely.
It is, because how can you say you are in a healthy relationship and you do not understand your partner? What is happening?
Okay.
What are you doing?
But do you know that maybe there are relationships that like they don't understand each other, but it's not.
That's very toxic.
That's
I think
very toxic.
I know what you're
That
talking
is
about,
very
David.
toxic.
Really?
I think these are maybe setups where maybe it's just like they're in a relationship, but maybe one party is there for sexual gratification and the pretense is no, it's how we are. We don't this lovey-dovey stuff is not
don't
us.
do
These people are in a
that.
relationship, but yeah, we're not lovey-dovey, she's my girl, I'm her boy or whatever, but no, these lovey-dovey stuff, we don't do them. That's very toxic, man.
Okay.
Then again, you also have to describe exactly what is a relationship, because there's dating.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, there's like dating, you guys are dating, you're seeing each other. There's dating exclusively where, okay, I've decided I'm seeing you and you're seeing me, but I'm allowed to have my own person. And there's a relationship where both of you are supposed to invest your time, your money. God, relationships are
There's
expensive.
this.
I keep saying that. I keep saying I do not have money for a relationship. And I don't think people get it because
Okay.
Same.
They ask you like, what is money for a relationship?
I'm honestly being I don't want to say vulnerable because I'm not vulnerable, but I'm just putting it out
Honest,
there
yeah.
that I'm too broke for a relationship right
Same.
now because
Wow.
I feel like people need to enjoy the relationship fully. Okay, we can enjoy each other, but we also have to enjoy outside of each other, and that requires a lot of money.
That's true.
A lot.
That's
So at
true.
this point, too broke for a relationship.
I totally relate
Now,
to
are you
that.
saying that you need money for you to be in a relationship?
Not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily that.
Not
yeah.
necessarily.
What do
I
you mean,
relate.
Aquino?
Okay.
I feel like love isn't the only thing that you need to keep the relationship going.
Okay.
I'm not saying, well, I am saying money is one of the prerequisites for relationships to actually work. I mean, guys, I saw this meme and people were laughing about it. It says you need to stop dating guys who don't know anything about dates, surprises, vacations and stuff. And I'm like, ma'am, you want the guy to keep doing this all the time for you? When are you going to be the one who's financing these dates and vacations? So rather it should be you need to stop dating people who do not understand, who do not know dates and stuff. There are people who are dating but have never been on an actual date.
Wow.
They are
That's
dating,
that's
but they've
deep.
never been on an actual
I
date.
feel like maybe going back to what you had said initially about like subjectivity, it depends on there are people who will be very happy in their relationship without going out to restaurants, without going on vacations, or they do simple gifting, or they don't really spend much financially on the relationship. If anything, when they're spending is when like they're investing in this person, maybe their small business or whatever. There are people who can go into a relationship, both of them, and not have to spend a lot. But then there's equally people who nah man, I can't ask this girl out when I know I cannot finance her needs or their needs. You get it? I totally relate with that. sometimes you know your type, you don't afford your types. And I feel like it's toxic to bring someone in a relationship who you know very well. This person likes receiving gifts. This person loves to go out. You knew this before even asking them out. You knew this person likes these things. And you ask them out, they say yes, and you expect them to continue into that relationship without getting those things. You get it? So sometimes you just know your types and evaluate before even going into the relationship whether you can afford your type. Otherwise, you're just being toxic and selfish.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting point that you guys are talking about, and I love the fact that you're really giving us jams on that. So now I see there's one of the keywords that we can also talk about in this topic, which is about manipulation. So I know Aquino, she's very much ready for that.
Yes.
So what is manipulation in relationships, and how common is it, if you can look at it in that way? Especially a man, maybe the youths.
What is manipulation in a relationship?
Yeah.
Manipulation in a relationship.
How does it play out?
Well, I think people always think that manipulation is intentional, but sometimes it isn't. Like, for example, love bombing. I've met you, I've liked you, and we'll do like 4 weeks of texting nonstop.
Wow.
I am giving you gifts, I'm taking you out, and like I get you used to that energy. And then after a while I get tired and I find somebody else to vibe with. And you're left with that, and you're left with that big gap in yourself where like, this is not what I signed up for. Like, I was not ready for this. And some people will play it out as, oh yeah, no, I'm just that type of person. I'm, and I don't think it's okay. Like, the idea of love bombing, most people will play it out as, you know what, I was just getting to know you. It was, and you guys texted at 4 a.m. in the morning. Like,
and then all of a sudden,
you have work at 8, but you're on your
and
phone.
then all of a sudden
they disappear. It's work.
They do that sometimes.
Right? So in that case, like, who should
I know nothing about that.
Who is at fault? Let's say, like, in a scenario of put it.
In that scenario, I guess both of you are.
Yeah.
Because
how so?
Okay, I know that if I meet somebody, I'll have to treat them like a stranger, because that's exactly what they are. But if I come in with the energy that, oh yeah, I know you, we've been friends for a minute, I'm just gonna text you all the time, I'm gonna give you all my attention and all of that, then it gives the other person the idea that, yeah, this is who you are and they can trust you. There's like that sense of trust that they develop. But also in the other case, you should see it coming. Like, why does a complete stranger give you their attention? I'm just throwing it out there, by the way. Sometimes it happens, but like, why does a complete stranger give you their attention all of a sudden? Like, you guys don't know each other, you guys are just getting to
Love at first sight.
Is it?
So
just the honeymoon phase, maybe.
Okay, so Aquino, what's your say on this manipulation and also like love bombing?
I think, well, she said sometimes it's not intentional.
Sometimes
I'm just going to talk about the sometimes it is intentional.
Okay.
There are people who think nonchalancy is cute. It's really not. Acting like you don't care just so you keep someone interested isn't sexy.
Yeah.
Quote me, nonchalantly isn't sexy, guys. It's not cute. Someone will give you, no, listen to this.
Yeah.
She said something of that sort. She's like, someone will give you attention. Okay, we're talking about loving your partner in their love language, loving your partner in their love language, not your love language. There are people who think they're smart, okay? They'll know this person likes this sort of thing, and then they'll do that consistently for 2 weeks. And then after that, nothing. And you want it so much, you keep going back, because you think it's going to come. And then when you're about to give up, thinking, you know what, it's not worth it, they start again,
carrot,
they come back.
Carrot on a stick.
Exactly. They keep doing this, you keep jumping. And then when you're giving up, you're like, you know what, this is toxic, I don't want it. They come back and they give it to you fully. That is love bombing and manipulation, because they are manipulating you into staying in that toxic relationship. And sometimes it's really, you're not staying out of desperation, but you honestly and legitly feel like this could work. You think you could make it work. And others on the sidelines are thinking, why is she still in there? Why doesn't she leave? But it's deep, guys. People will say it's not that deep. You won't know until you are in it, honestly, until you get there. And they're giving you their attention, they're giving you this love, and then they take it away. So people nowadays think it's actually a way of making someone stay interested. But I, for one, don't think it's cute. So the moment you start doing that, it's inconsistency on my end. And nothing about consistency for me is attractive.
Okay.
So manipulation, love bombing, the moment you start doing that in the talking stage, we're done. This is not going anywhere. Now, this is how you move out of toxic relationships.
Now, talking of moving outside the toxic relationship, there are a lot of people, like, maybe, that we have heard also, or we have thought like, okay, yeah, this person is in a toxic relationship and it's not so easy moving out of it.
It's not.
Right? And it ends up making people, just like you said, toxic relationships actually even tend to last longer than healthy ones. Can we talk of like how to really find the courage from within yourself to move out of that toxic relationship? I'll need a piece on this first.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I think it's like addiction, because if you find yourself in a relationship where even you notice that it's toxic, but you can't move out because maybe this person is providing or giving you something that you really yearn for, such that despite the toxicity that's happening, you just keep coming back. It's kind of, I would treat it like addiction. I would treat it like addiction. I've never been in a situation where I'm in a toxic relationship and it's that deep, so I really wouldn't know how to move out of it. But I guess I treat it just like addiction.
This is the Talking Podcast. In case you just joined us, and in case you're watching or you're listening to it, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about an interesting topic, which is creating health and lasting relationships. Of course, I'm not alone today on the show. I have with me 3 beautiful people. So they're just sharing with us more about creating these healthy relationships and, of course, lasting. So now, before we let you go, guys, let's talk on how, to maintain them, okay? Since maybe we have created them, and we know that we have made them healthy, right? So we don't want to lose those things. We don't want to lose that love that we've created, or that relationship, the bond with our partners, and we know that it's healthy. How do we now maintain them? So that we continue being good, because nobody wishes to be in a toxic relationship, I guess. So how do we maintain them, Marqueen?
I think for me it comes back again to communication, but this time around comprehension. Communication and comprehension, because you keep saying something, and if they do not understand what you're saying, you keep saying it over and over and over again. So communicating and listening, not listening to respond, but listening to actually work on something, and also not invalidating your partner's thoughts and feelings and whatever it is they have to say. So communication, comprehension, and listening. We all know communicating for impact, guys. So say whatever it is that you want to say, and say it like you mean it. And also, it's also up to you who's listening to understand what they're saying. Understand what they're saying, and then only then can you actually work it out. So it's communication and comprehension.
That's a queen, no? Yeah, interesting. So Sepiso.
Yeah, I think validation, and not validation as in you're seeking validation from your partner, but you intentionally going to your partner to validate the relationship. Baby, are you happy? Baby, am I treating you right? Baby, what can I do better? Etc. I think those are important things to try and get from the relationship, to try and maybe identify certain things that you wouldn't have noticed are toxic, identify what problems or inadequacies there might be that your partner might be afraid of telling you, and so that you fix them before they become an issue. So getting that validation or seeking that validation out about like where your relationship is at is important for making sure, checking whether or not that relationship is healthy for both of you guys, and maintaining it as a healthy relationship if there's need to tweak a little things. Yeah.
Awesome. So I love the points you just mentioned. Cool. Kezen.
Okay, so there is a number of things, but to me, I would say there's a sense of self-awareness you need to develop. Like sometimes you're just there because you love the amount of love you're investing into it. Like you're not there for the other person. It's more of like, yeah, I feel good because I've been able to give this person this. And in a case like that, I mean, it's less about them, more about you. Why do you feel the need to like keep pouring into somebody else? Is there a part of yourself that isn't full, that you feel like, you know, I can love them into loving me? And I don't think that's okay. And there's also the part where you said getting out of toxic relationships. He did say it's like an addiction, and it really is. And I feel like the only way to really get out of it is to stay away. Like physically stay away from them. And after a while, it will hurt. Like you guys are just going through withdrawal. But after a while, it will go away. And don't jump into the next thing. It doesn't help.
Amazing points from all of you guys. And of course, I did love this conversation, and I hope that even our listeners out there, they did pick one or two things. Guys, Valentine is almost, in the doors. So yeah, we better, get ourselves together. And of course, those who are in love, congratulations, and we're happy for you. Kudos. I know Sepiso here. You're happy.
I'm not talking about the singles.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming through. This was really awesome, and it has, I think, prepared me very well for especially the 14th.
Okay. we love to hear this.
Right? It's a love month. I mean, we should share love, and it's time to experience it. So this has been the Talking Podcast. Thank you so much, everybody who has stayed tuned with us. We were talking about creating healthy and lasting relationships. My name is David Umuvita, aka The People Stress. I'm the host. Do not forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, which is The Talking Podcast. Also follow us on Instagram, The Talking Podcast. Don't forget to also, be contributing to these conversations by commenting on the chat box. We're out. Till next week again. Stay blessed and be loved. Hey.
Valentine's is coming.
Where is your boyfriend? That's what's up. We're out.